Mr. Wonderful here, and I'm honored because I have here the creator of Dubai Watch Week, Hind Siddiqui. Now, she's legendary, but she's getting even bigger because this show is getting bigger. Let's go back in time and talk about the idea. Like, when did you come up with this thing?
We started in 2015.
Yeah.
And basically what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring a piece of the experiences that we have been exposed to as retailers. You know, we used to go to the factories, we used to meet the watchmakers, the people behind the brands, to the watch collecting community in the UAE, and show them why we're so passionate about watchmaking. Because if they don't see what's happening behind the scenes, they're never going to know they're never going to appreciate it. And we also felt that the industry needed to talk to each other. And that's why we created the forum, where we were the first ever to bring CEOs from different brands to talk together on a panel. So that's how we started. We just wanted people to experience, you know, what we really loved. But our mission was always transmitting, you know, the experience and the knowledge.
I mean, the Siddiqui family is known in the region, obviously, as one of the largest authorized dealers of many brands. I mean, anybody in watches knows that. But this is something different, because when I look at it this year, it's massive. I mean, this is a complete change this year. It's a new location. All these booths are set up. Brands are doing huge things here. I mean, there's other watch shows around the world, but nothing quite like this. So what was the big change here? What happened?
When we started with the brands that are within the portfolio of Ahmed Seddiqi, but then we opened it up for all the brands, not even the ones that are under the umbrella of Ahmed Seddiqi. And we always were encouraging them to come up with experiences and storytelling. And when we told them that it's a non-commercial event, some of them were very hesitant, you know, like, why would I come and spend money and not be able to sell? But we had a vision that, you know, if you remove that aspect of coming with sales targets and pushing people to sell something, then you gain their confidence, because they want to hear about your story. They want to get to know you. They want to understand why you created this watch and connect with you directly. And so today here, people come and the watchmakers are connecting directly with the collectors. Collectors from around the world are connecting with each other. And the brands today, if you see, each brand has a different experience in their base, something that you've never seen in the watch industry. Right? It's always very commercial. It's always behind glass doors. And we broke that. And I think that's what people like. They like the relaxed atmosphere that there was.
I would say one thing that's unique about this show, and I'll speak as a collector now, is I can come and meet the micro brands, the hot new makers, the young generation moving up with their new ideas.
Yes.
And basically find out about their production, when the watches are coming, which ones are actually prototypes versus ones that may never make the market. I mean, you're getting some very cutting edge stuff here.
Exactly. Information you don't see in the press releases, basically. You're going and you're getting insider information directly from the source.
Yeah, and it's very, very interesting, because it's more of a community vibe than a traditional commercial show. Is the intention to keep it that way going forward?
100%. You know, it's like a big reunion every time you have
it's a party.
It's a party. Everybody comes here, and new people are joining the community, and that's how we would like to keep it.
It's great. The other thing that's interesting is it stays open late. I mean, it's open till 11 o'clock.
Till 11, yes, till 11, and people don't keep till midnight. You know.
No, I mean, it kind of captures the life of the city, which has grown like crazy. I mean, the traffic's insane there. I mean, just getting here was nuts.
That's the two things I can't control, traffic and weather.
Weather's been okay. No problem there. Now, let's talk a little bit about the dichotomy. You've been able to get massive brands like AP, Rolex is here for obvious reasons, because the Siddiqui family is a partnership. I mean, at your opening dinner, the Swiss ambassador was the keynote.
Yes.
That's different.
Yes.
No question about it. How many brands does the family now represent, you know?
We represent over 60 brands now, from watches and jewelry, not only watches. So we have a wide portfolio, and I think that's the advantage we had. Without these brands and the trust that they have and the respect that they have for the name Ahmed Seddiqi, we wouldn't be able to bring them all under one roof.
What is the curation process? You know, when I meet a new maker here, how did they get here? Like, what do you got to do to get in here is the question.
Okay, so we're very clear about how we choose about.
Tell us what you.
So first of all, you have to come up with a new experience. You have to come up either with a global launch or a limited edition or a special edition for the event, because people don't want to see the same thing they've seen before. And then we have an internal committee at Ahmed Seddiqi.
Are you the chair of the committee?
Yes, I chair the committee with my cousin Mohammed, who we met, and we receive all of the requests. And I always end up with waiting lists, and there are sometimes brands who were participating with us before whom we have to say, thank you very much, but we cannot give you a space, and it's not a nice conversation to have.
I haven't ever told you this, but a couple of watchmakers last year called me saying, "You know her, can you get us in?" I don't want to put myself in that position.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of the one that
I do get quite a lot of calls like that, but then if we have to put the collector in mind, and we have to put, we want their journey to be interesting for them. So they need to come in and they need to meet new brands as well, not always the same brand.
Does every brand that gets in here, a new brand, do they become part of the Siddiqui lineup?
No.
So that's not even required.
No,
You're giving them a
they're
chance
not
to
required.
showcase,
Exactly.
and they may not even have a relationship with the AA.
Yes, exactly. That's why we're creating a new advisory committee, Dubai Watchwick Advisory Committee next year, to bring people from the industry and key opinion leaders to help us as well, prove that we are neutral. It's not only an Ahmed Seddiqi event. This is an event for the industry. So they don't have to be there. A lot of brands that are in there that are not under the portfolio of Ahmed Seddiqi. Some of them later on become, part of the portfolio, and some of them carry on with other.
The truth is, and I know it's hard for you to say it, but I'll say it. You're one of the largest authorized dealers in the world. Mm-hmm. You're massive.
Yes.
With
75 dealers.
Yeah, you've kind of taken the whole thing to a new level, because now you're doing your own watch show and you're an AD. I don't think there's anybody else that gets to do that.
I don't think anyone tried, but we felt that we have the network and the connections to be able to pull something back.
Okay, so now let's go 12 months forward. Mm-hmm. You've run out of space here. Mm-hmm. There's no more space.
Mm-hmm. One more space.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what the brands who are participating with us in this edition want to do next time. And then we reevaluate, and then we see if it's something that we'll have to shuffle things around, obviously. Yeah. But then, the space that AP is occupying today could be occupied by multiple booths.
No, that AP thing is amazing. It's already all over the world. The social media has been crazy.
It's amazing. What they've done is really amazing.
But this is my own opinion, but in the last two shows, you have become one of the must-go-to places. There's obviously the Swiss show at the end of the year in Geneva, but this has also become that level in a different way. Like everybody says to me, "Are you going to Watch Week?" I said, "Yeah, of course."
Because we've created this event for everyone. It's not for the industry only. Other events are very B2B. They've recently opened for consumers to visit in the last few days of their events. But we are open for the public. We host events for children as well. Yeah. So on Friday and Saturday, we even have a puppet show about time for kids. So we make it more engaging for the general public, not only collectors, to feel less intimidated, to come and learn about watches.
It's very approachable.
Mm-hmm. Very approachable.
It's not arrogant. Some shows you have to be in the industry, you have to get a special pass and all that stuff.
Or you have to pay a big amount of money.
You have to pay a big amount of money.
Free entries.
Yeah, it's amazing that way. And I think, look, I commend you on doing a spectacular job.
Thank you very much.
But I have to admit, when I came here this year, whoa. This is off the charts.
Thank you, and you've been.
Yeah, I know.
Your presence with us last time really helped put us on the map with the.
No, but I'm happy to do it because it's so interesting, and that's why I come with a camera and say, "Look, everybody, you got to check this out." But mostly, and what I think you've done so well, you've curated the microbrands beautifully. Mm-hmm. I always think I know everything. I've seen 3 brands I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Which for me.
We like to play the role of the incubator. We want to bring them in. We want to help them meet the industry and meet the collectors. Yeah. And you never know how they grow and how big they become.
Yeah,
They need a chance. They need a place where they can be represented. That's why we create the area where it's a little bit affordable to participate.
It's the ones that I'm thinking about. Bell and Ross, for example, that in the last 3 years have kind of got to that Journesque volume and passed. They make amazing watches. They're showcasing some crazy stuff here.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've seen it here.
So they're with the right audience here. They're with the people who really want to see and understand what they're doing and understand the vision of the brand as well. So
You're doing the same thing. Amazing. Anyways, congratulations. I think you've done a spectacular job. Wonderful to see this. And of course, we all wish you the best. Now, listen, don't screw it up. Make it even bigger next year.
Thank you. Thank you for the pressure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. You take care.
That was terrific. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Wonderful here. No one needs a watch, but everybody wants one. Why? Because it marks a moment of time in your life. A graduation, a marriage, a successful moment in your career. It's like art. Many watches appreciate in value over time, and that's where the problems start. You might think your watch is covered by your home insurance policy, but in many cases, that is simply not true, especially if you're looking for replacement value if your watch is lost or stolen. That's why I created WonderCare. Want to learn more about insuring your watch? Go to WonderCare.com.